Bajchani, Manaja Takangi, Ajin Shamushka Kapaichi. Well, yeah, that's right, you guys don't speak Native American. I forget. But don't forget, you should learn. Because you're in America. In America, you speak Native, or you're not a real American. That's right. Nimanaja Takangi means how you doing? In the Inca language. Because nowadays, we come from countries that have Spanish names, but we're not Spanish. Just the names of the countries are in Spanish. You gotta remember this, because we are celebrating Hispanic and Latino heritage. You know, up until, I believe it's October 10th, from September 10th to October, from September 10th to October 10th, celebrate Hispanic and Latino Heritage Month. And do you realize that it's up to the 10th? And I say, why not the 12th of October? You remember what October 12th is? The so-called discovery of America by Columbus. But you know, he did not discover America. America was already discovered by the native people. The Aztecs, the Mayans, the Taínos, they were already here before Spain came to claim these lands in 1492. We are celebrating Hispanic and Latino culture by educating each other about who we really are. Don't forget, Spanish is the language we speak. We are not from Spain. We've never been there. We don't have any relatives there. So we must remember that. The name of the group is Raices Group. Raices means roots in Spanish. We were going to call it in the Inca, but nobody would have known what it is. But Raices people know what that means. Thank you. Raices means roots. And the message we bring with our music is about roots, about our roots, about your roots. Make sure you never forget your ancestors. Your ancestors come from Italy, from Germany, from England, and a lot of people don't have any knowledge of that anymore here in this country because they go and call themselves American. They're like, I'm American, I don't know anything in Italy. I don't know, my grandparents spoke Italian, I don't need to learn that. You see, and that's wrong because you gotta think about it like this. If you were born in the US and your grandmother and grandfather come from Italy, that means you're Italian, born in the US, right? So you've been Italian for many, many generations, then you come over to this country and you're gonna deny Italy now. You're gonna be American. See, that's wrong. You should never forget your ancestors. For example, Latinos, Italians are the real Latinos. Because in Italy, with the Romans spoke Latin. They were the real Latinos, the Romans, not us. We speak Spanish, not Latin. Big difference. Spanish comes from Latin. When I speak English, nobody calls me English. But because I speak Spanish, people want to say, hey, you're Hispanic, you're Spanish, you're illegal, go back. Go back where? We're in our land. Don't forget, before we were Spanish, before we learned to speak Spanish, and before we learned Christianity and about Jesus, we knew about native culture. We were Incas, we were Aztecs, we were Mayans. We were already had civilizations here in this land. So we just want to remind you that because it is Hispanic and Latino heritage. And to all my Latino brothers and sisters, remember, if you got an abuelita in España, you're Spanish. But if you don't have an abuelita in Spain, you're not Spanish. Don't let me burst your bubble, right? Don't let me bring you down. But it's the truth. You see, people say to me, oh, you're Hispanic, you're Spanish. I know I'm not. I speak Spanish. My grandmother's not from Spain. If I go to Spain, they're not going to say, hey, welcome. They're not going to say that to me. So why should I claim Spanish as my mother country? Nah. And if anything, remember, Spain came to take everything from the Indians. To take the gold, to take the knowledge, to take many, many things, including the food we eat today. 60% of all the vegetables that we eat come from Native America. 60%. That's a lot of the vegetables. So we just want to acknowledge that, because although we are celebrating Hispanic and Latino heritage, we want to remind you of your Aztec, of your Inca, of your Mayan heritage. Never forget that. See, that's why we dress this way. That's why we play these instruments, because these instruments connect us to our ancestors. You see, and these instruments don't come from Europe. Okay, the Spaniards were not playing these instruments. The Incas, our ancestors, were playing this. And we're lucky to be here, and we are happy to be here, sharing this with you. Because I tell you this, and this is the truth. 500 years ago, with orders of the church, because you know, back in those days, the Pope was the man. He was the leader of everything, right? In 1492, ever since then, if you play these instruments, you will be killed. So we have relatives back in the day, ancestors, that probably try to play these instruments, and they were killed for it. So we are lucky to be here, sharing this with you. And actually making a little money on the side. Can you believe that? You see, we've come in a long way, but there's a lot more to go. And it's about healing ourselves with the truth. Learn the truth about this country, about America. America is not just the 50 states. America is a whole continent. North, Central, South America, including the islands of the Caribbean. That's all America. So if you're from anywhere in the continent of America, you are American. People say, hey, only U.S. considered Americans. No. We are Americans. And if anything, we are more Americans than they are. You know why? Because when you really come down to it, America has a race. And it's not white, it's not black, it's not Asian. They were the native people. They were the brown people. They were the Indians, the Indios. Whatever you want to call them. American Indians, Amerindians, Native Americans. They're all the same people. They're all brown people. Because before Columbus came, everybody was this color. But as you know, there's some states where you're discriminated because you're brown. And if you look brown, you're illegal. You better have ID. Hey, look at that guy over there. He looks Mexican. Let's see if he has ID, right? And they want to change the law, right, for police to be able to do that. See, that's racial profiling, isn't it? That's not fair. Because I'll tell you what. I have friends from Poland. I have friends from Ireland. I have friends from Australia. They got no papers. They're just as undocumented as the Mexicans coming over, but because they're white, nobody bothers them. They don't get harassed by anybody. I've been in the buses where I get carded, when I get asked for ID, and they keep their mouth shut, nobody bothers them. The minute they speak, they hear the accent, and then they can be questioned. You see what I'm saying? We need to educate ourselves about what is going on. And the first thing is identity, who we are. Who are we as Latinos? You know, we're not from Spain, so why do we say we're Spanish? We're not. We are more African and we are more native than Spanish. I have friends from Dominican Republic and from Puerto Rico that are clearly African descent, but they don't want to be called black. You know, they're like, I'm not black, I'm Hispanic. Like Hispanic is a race. It's not a race. Hispanic is a language. It's a group of people that live in Spain. Again, if you call yourself Latino, si tienen una bolita en España, son latinos, son hispanos. Si no, son indios o afros. Let's keep it real, people. That's what 2012 is about. You see, Latin music, you can find it right here. The record market have the best Latin selection of salsa, merengue, and whatnot. We don't play that. We play native music. Real American music. See, but people here, they're like, oh, you're Latino, whatever. But when I'm here, I want to remind us, educate each other about who we are. Because this way we can understand that we are all brothers and sisters. We are all children of Earth. And we gotta stop fighting each other because Mother Earth is losing out. Mother Earth needs help. Actually, we need help. Mother Earth has the time to heal herself. But what's going to happen to us? This way we live, it's anti-Earth. And you see, we can talk about this because in 1492, when Columbus came, in America, the Aztecs, the Mayans, the Incas, they had no disease. There was no cancer. Can you believe that? You can drink from any river and anywhere in the continent of America. You can drink the water. It was better than the Poland Spring you pay for today. Because don't be thinking that water you buy is good. It's not. It's just better than the tap water, and that's the truth. You see, but if they would have listened to the natives, Europeans that came over in 1492, if they would have listened to the natives about taking care of the planet, taking care of Earth, we'll be in a better situation right now. You see, but they have different intentions. They have different ideas. They wanted our gold, they wanted our silver, and they wanted slaves to work for free. For Spain, for Holland, for England. When you look at the map of the world, you see Europe is very small. Europe is very, very small. But yet, they're the richest countries in the world. Because they went to Africa, they went to America, and they took everything that the natives and the Africans had. So if you celebrate Latino and Hispanic heritage, don't forget that Spanish is the language we speak. And it's good, it's okay that we can all get together and speak Spanish to each other. But it's not who we are. We're not from Spain. We speak the language. And I have no problem talking Spanish to anybody because I speak very well Spanish. See, don't be thinking I don't want to be talking. I'll talk to you in Spanish or English. But that's how we celebrate Hispanic and Latino heritage. Reminding you about your roots. Okay? And that's what it's about. So we thank you for your support. Thank you for your energy. The next song we're going to do is called Una Quilla.